I want to start by first thanking all Singaporeans and residents of Singapore for working so hard over the past few weeks in helping us to bring the outbreak under control and significantly reduce our infection rates in the community. Because of all our collective efforts, we are now ready to exit the circuit breaker, and we can now start planning to resume activities safely and in a phased manner. You have all heard the detailed plans for phase 1 from the respective ministers. We are starting phase 1 of the reopening in a very careful and calibrated manner. Many restrictions that are in place today will continue in phase 1. I know Singaporeans will be disappointed. Many have been hoping that with the end of the circuit breaker, they will be able to go out freely, to socialize with their friends, to meet their families and relatives, and even dine together. Unfortunately, all of these activities will have to wait. And I hope everyone understands why this is necessary. We have to do this in a very careful and calibrated manner because we do not want to risk a flaring up of the virus again. And importantly, we do not want to sacrifice the efforts that all of us have put in over the past few weeks in controlling the outbreak. Some businesses in phase 1 will not be able to reopen. They include retail shops, personalized services. All of these are not planned for reopening in phase 1. As you heard Minister Chan explain just now, they can start preparing for phase 2, but in phase 1, because of the risk that we have assessed, they will still have to remain closed. The assurance we would like to give to all of them is that the government will continue to support these businesses and their workers as they are unable to reopen from 2nd of June onwards. So the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance will be announcing more details on the measures that the government will provide next week in Parliament on the 26th of May. And as I said, our assurance is we will continue to provide support to these businesses that are unable to open. We can expect to be in phase 1 for a few weeks, so we will need everyone to be patient and disciplined throughout this period of phase 1. I can understand that we have been in the circuit breaker for some time. People have been disciplined so far, but the feeling of being cooped up at home for a long period is starting to take its effect on people, and there is a very strong desire to go out, to socialize, to interact with your friends. But I hope we can all maintain our discipline for a while longer. As I said, phase 1 will take some time. We may have to continue with phase 1 for a few weeks and continue with quite strict measures for quite some time more. Because if we were to open up too quickly and allow all these social activities to restart, there is a risk that the virus will flare up and we might see many more cases and clusters forming. So we do not want that to happen. We start in a controlled fashion in phase 1, and if we are able to keep community transmission in a low and stable manner, maintain control over the virus situation both in the dormitories and in our community, then we will be in a position to enter phase 2. So we call on everyone to do their part as we prepare for this new phase of reopening and as we enter phase 1 of the reopening process. Stay disciplined, uphold personal and social responsibility so that we will be in a strong position to eventually enter phase 2 and have a broader range of activities resumed safely at that point in time. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick summary. As we complete our circuit breaker period, we have evolved a 3-phase roadmap to take us forward. Phase 1 is aimed at allowing us to open carefully and cautiously and safely. This will take a few weeks for us to put in place these measures and to allow this opening to happen and to monitor the situation and to may have to adjust some of the measures to ensure that we do not have a surge of cases. Then we enter into phase 2, and phase 2 is a transition period. This may comprise several steps. It's not a single step. It may involve several steps of measures to be put in place, and some of the restriction measures may be rolled back over a period of time. It may involve months. It may take several months before we are able to complete phase 2, and at the end of phase 2, we will then arrive at phase 3, which is that we will have a safe Singapore, a safe nation. So phase 1 is a safe opening, phase 2 is a safe transition period, and phase 3 is a safe Singapore outcome. So I think this is the 3 phases of our roadmap going forward beyond the circuit breaker period, starting from 2nd June.